Have you ever felt like no matter what you do, stress, pain, and exhaustion keep holding you back? What if I told you that true healing doesn't come from another pill or doctor's visit, but from something ancient yet profoundly simple, something that's been there all along, waiting for you to rediscover it? The secret to real healing may not be what you expect. It doesn't lie in the body alone, but in the powerful connection between your mind, body, and spirit. In today's world, many of us feel trapped by stress, chronic pain, anxiety, and a deep fatigue that no medicine seems to fix. We keep searching for answers in external solutions. But what if the answer lies within us? Buddhist wisdom offers a path of healing through mindfulness, meditation, and compassion. Simple yet transformative practices that help restore balance and harmony. This video will show you practical, accessible ways to start healing from within using Buddhist teachings. Together, we'll explore how mindfulness can calm the chaos, how meditation can soothe the soul, and how compassion and loving kindness can heal the deepest wounds. Before we dive deeper into these practices, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced a moment of stillness or peace that surprised you? A moment when everything just seemed to click? Share your thoughts in the comments below. But before we dive into these life-changing practices, let's take a moment to understand why so many of us are in the state we're in, and how our bodies and minds have come to be overwhelmed. On the mind-body connection in Buddhism. Did you know that your emotions, thoughts, and past experiences can physically affect your health? What if I told you that the pain you feel, whether physical or emotional, is not just in your body, but also in your mind? Buddhism teaches that the body and mind are not separate. They're intimately connected. What happens in one will always influence the other. And the good news is, you can take charge of that connection and heal from within. We live in a world where the mind and body are often seen as separate entities. Medicine focuses on the body, and therapy targets the mind. But Buddhism offers a different perspective. The body and mind are one. What you feel mentally has a profound impact on your physical health, and vice versa. Imagine this. When you experience anxiety, your body reacts. Your heart races, your muscles tense, and your stomach may tighten. That's your mind manifesting physically. Conversely, when you're physically ill, it can make you feel emotionally down, and the weight of pain can trap your mind in negative thought loops. This constant feedback loop between the mind and body can be overwhelming. But here's the key. The connection is not one-sided. You can use the mind to heal the body and vice versa. Buddhism has long understood this connection, and it offers a path to break the cycle of stress and pain. By practicing mindfulness and meditation, we can interrupt the patterns that lead to suffering and illness. These practices teach us to observe our thoughts without becoming them, to witness our emotions without identifying with them, and to connect with our breath to bring balance to both mind and body. The concept of the mind-body connection is not just a Buddhist idea, it's backed by science. Neuroscience has shown us that when we experience stress, our brain releases hormones like cortisol, which can weaken the immune system and contribute to inflammation. Negative emotions like anger or sadness can trigger a cascade of chemical reactions that affect your physical health, causing things like chronic pain, digestive issues, or even heart disease. But here's the twist. Just as stress can harm your health, practices like mindfulness and meditation can reverse this. Research has found that regular mindfulness practice can lower cortisol levels, reduce inflammation, and even improve heart health. By focusing on the present moment, we can turn off the stress response, allowing our bodies to heal naturally. This is the power of the mind-body connection, and you don't need a prescription to tap into it. Let's take it a step further and look at the psychological side. Anxiety, depression, and chronic pain often go hand in hand. When you're stressed or anxious, your body tightens, your heart races, and your mind spirals into worry. This creates a vicious cycle. The more you stress, the more your body feels it. But the opposite is true too. By learning to break this cycle through mindfulness, meditation, or simply changing the way you respond to stress, you can disrupt that loop and begin to heal. For example, when you're feeling anxious, instead of diving deeper into those emotions, Buddhism teaches us to observe them. Ah, here's anxiety, and you might say. But by not identifying with it, you let it pass. This practice shifts your mindset and takes away the power that anxiety has over you. Over time, this can drastically reduce the physical impact anxiety has on your body, easing your tension and restoring your inner balance. Let me share something personal with you. I've been through my journey with chronic pain and stress. For years, I lived with a tightness in my shoulders that no amount of massage or medication seemed to fix. Every day felt like I was carrying a weight I couldn't put down. I remember in one particularly tough period, I tried meditation just to calm my mind, hoping it would somehow help with the pain. To my surprise, after just a few days of practicing mindfulness, the tension in my body started to loosen. It wasn't immediate, but over time, my body began to respond. I learned to breathe deeply, letting go of the stress that had been manifesting physically. The pain didn't disappear overnight, but something inside me shifted. I wasn't just treating the symptom, I was healing the cause. I know many of you are struggling with the same things I once did: chronic stress, the never-ending anxiety, and the physical pain that no one can seem to fix. It's exhausting, isn't it? You feel trapped, like no matter how much you try to heal, the cycle just keeps going. But here's the hope. You don't have to stay in that place forever. Through mindfulness and meditation, you can break that cycle. It starts with one small step: a conscious breath, a moment of stillness, a decision to take charge of your mind. It won't be easy, but I promise you, every little bit of peace you cultivate will add up. And slowly you'll find that the stress, pain, and anxiety lose their grip on you. Think about the last time stress took a toll on your body. How did it feel? Let's pause for a moment together and take a deep breath. Breathe in peace, breathe out tension. Feel that? That's the power of your mind starting to shift. Now that we've explored the profound connection between our mind and body and how they shape our well-being, it's time to dive deeper into the tools that Buddhism offers to heal this connection. Among the most powerful of these tools are mindfulness and meditation. These practices not only calm the mind, but also create a healing space for the body. So let's take a closer look at how a few moments of stillness each day can shift your energy, reduce your pain, and guide you toward lasting peace. Let's explore how simply being present can lead to profound healing. 2. Meditation and mindfulness for healing. Could sitting in silence for just 5 minutes a day transform your health and happiness? What if that simple moment of stillness could reset your mind and body in ways that no medicine or treatment could? In Buddhism, meditation is not merely a way to relax, it's a cornerstone of healing. For centuries, Buddhist monks have practiced meditation to achieve deep mental clarity, physical health, and spiritual growth. But here's the twist. Modern science has now validated what Buddhism has known all along. The benefits of meditation go far beyond peace of mind. Meditation can lower stress, improve emotional regulation, and even enhance your heart health. One of the key benefits is the reduction in cortisol levels, the stress hormone that, when elevated, can lead to serious health issues like inflammation, heart disease, and anxiety. Research shows that regular meditation reduces cortisol levels, which not only helps you feel calmer, but it also boosts your immune system, making you more resilient to illness. Meditation teaches us to step back from our thoughts. Instead of being swept away by worry or anxiety, we learn to observe our thoughts from a distance, creating a buffer between us and the overwhelming emotions. This simple shift in perspective allows us to break free from the cycle of stress and anxiety that so many of us live with daily. When we're mindful, we don't get lost in the past or future, but we anchor ourselves in the present moment where peace and healing can begin. In the Buddhist tradition, Mindfulness is the practice of being fully aware and present in each moment without judgment. It's about connecting to the here and now, letting go of worries about the future or regrets from the past. This concept ties directly into the Buddhist idea of impermanence, the understanding that everything, including our emotions, thoughts, and physical sensations, is transient. You see, anxiety often arises from our attachment to things that are out of our control. We worry about what might happen, and in doing so, we forget that life is always changing. In Buddhism, we're taught that by embracing the impermanence of life, we can find peace in the flow of life itself. Things change, emotions come and go, and by accepting this, we free ourselves from the need to control everything. I can tell you from my own experience that the transformation I experienced through meditation wasn't just mental, it was deeply physical as well. 20 years ago, I struggled with constant tension in my neck and shoulders. It was the kind of pain that felt like it would never go away, no matter what I tried. Massage, physical therapy, even medication. But everything changed when I committed to a daily meditation practice. At first, it was difficult. My mind was restless, and I couldn't seem to silence the constant chatter. But little by little, I started to notice something amazing. My pain started to lessen. It wasn't instant, but every time I sat down to meditate, I felt a bit lighter, a bit more at ease. My body slowly released the tension it had been holding on to for so long. Meditation taught me how to focus on my breath and release the tightness that had accumulated over the years. Now I look back and realize that the real change wasn't just in my body, it was in my mindset. I had finally learned to step back from the constant whirlwind of thoughts and emotions, allowing myself to simply be present, and in that space of presence, healing naturally followed. I know many of you can relate to this feeling of exhaustion, the constant chase for relief that never quite lasts. Whether it's the emotional toll of stress or the physical strain of chronic pain, it can feel like you're running in circles, never truly finding peace. I've been there. It's like you're doing everything you can, exercising, seeing doctors, taking medication, but nothing seems to work long-term. Here's where meditation changes the game. You're not just treating the symptom, you're healing the root cause. You're giving your mind the space to breathe, and in doing so, your body starts to respond. Healing begins at the root of the problem, and that root is often in your mind. Meditation provides a pathway to create lasting change from the inside out. So here's my challenge for you. Can you spare just 5 minutes today for your mind and body? I promise you, it's worth it. Let's pause right now together. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and feel the weight of your body melt away with each exhale. Let that moment be a reset. But meditation is only one part of the equation. While it's a powerful tool for healing, it's not complete without another essential practice: loving kindness and compassion. These practices help us connect with ourselves and others, creating an environment where healing can truly thrive. Let's explore how these powerful tools can deepen our healing journey. 3. Loving kindness, metta, and compassion. When was the last time you showed yourself compassion instead of criticism? When did you last pause and truly say, "I am enough, just as I am"? The most powerful healer is often the love and kindness you give yourself and others. It's not just about feeling good, it's about transforming your life from within. In Buddhism, one of the most profound and transformative practices is metta, or loving kindness. At its core, metta is the act of sending love and positive thoughts first to yourself and then to others. It may sound simple, but in reality, it has the power to heal deep emotional wounds, transform your relationships, and even bring about physical healing. When we practice metta, we are not just wishing happiness and peace for others. We are allowing ourselves to experience those qualities as well. Buddhism teaches us that by cultivating loving kindness towards ourselves, we create the foundation for extending that kindness to others. It's a deeply interconnected process. When you nurture compassion within, it overflows into every interaction, helping to heal the world around you. But the scientific side of things is just as remarkable. Studies have shown that when we practice compassion, we activate areas of the brain associated with happiness, empathy, and even emotional regulation. Compassion isn't just a warm feeling, it's a neurological shift that reduces stress, eases pain, and creates lasting emotional balance. When you engage in practices of loving kindness or compassion, your brain rewires itself to be more empathetic and resilient. Research has shown that acts of kindness, whether toward yourself or others, trigger the release of oxytocin, the love hormone, which helps reduce stress and anxiety. It also stimulates areas of the brain related to positive emotions, such as the prefrontal cortex and the insula, fostering a sense of well-being. But here's the twist. This doesn't just happen when we direct kindness outwardly. When we practice self-compassion, we rewire our internal narrative, which in turn allows us to react to external events more calmly and positively. The more we accept and nurture ourselves, the more we naturally extend that same compassion to others, creating a positive feedback loop that reinforces emotional health and balance. Self-compassion, though a simple concept, is something many of us overlook. We tend to be our harshest critics, especially when we feel we've failed or fallen short. But this inner criticism only feeds our negative emotions, creating a cycle of guilt, anxiety, and even depression. Buddhism teaches us that self-compassion is not about excusing mistakes or indulging in self-pity. Rather, it's about accepting ourselves with kindness and understanding, as we would treat a dear friend who is struggling. When we offer ourselves compassion, we begin to break free from feelings of inadequacy. Instead of being burdened by guilt or shame, we learn to acknowledge our imperfections with love and patience. This shift in perspective allows us to stop viewing ourselves through a lens of judgment and criticism. By treating ourselves with the same care and kindness that we extend to others, we begin to heal emotionally. The healing power of self-compassion is transformative. It can lighten the load of stress, reduce feelings of inadequacy, and even help us better handle difficult emotions. Let me share something from my journey. When I was younger, I constantly struggled with self-criticism. I was always pushing myself, striving for perfection, yet never feeling like I was enough. The weight of this endless internal judgment drained me both emotionally and physically. It wasn't until I came across the Buddhist practice of loving kindness that things began to shift. At first, it felt uncomfortable to say kind things to myself. I was so used to being my own harshest critic that the idea of offering myself love felt strange, almost foreign. But I decided to give it a try. Every day I began to repeat the phrase, "May I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be at peace." Slowly but surely, I started to feel lighter. I wasn't expecting a miracle, but I began to notice subtle shifts in my thoughts and emotions. The guilt I'd carried for so long started to fade. I learned to be kinder to myself, and in doing so, I became more compassionate toward others as well. This practice didn't just make me feel better, it changed my life. It freed me from the grip of perfectionism and allowed me to approach both myself and others with empathy and understanding. It was only through metta, through loving kindness, that I was able to break free from the toxic cycle of self-criticism and embrace true emotional healing. So many of us struggle with self-criticism, the voice inside that tells us we're not good enough, that we haven't done enough, or that we don't deserve happiness. It's exhausting, isn't it? We spend so much time and energy chasing approval from others, but the real key to healing is found within. It's in the kindness you show yourself, the forgiveness you offer, and the love you cultivate in your own heart. I want you to know that you deserve that love. You deserve the same compassion that you so freely give to others. And it's never too late to start. No matter where you are in your journey, self-compassion can help you begin to heal and find peace within. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath and silently repeat these words. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. Let them sink in and feel the warmth of these wishes wrap around you. You are worthy of love, and it starts right now. But compassion doesn't just stop with ourselves, it extends to others. The true power of metta lies not only in how we treat ourselves, but in how we connect with others. Let's explore the profound impact that kindness and compassion can have on our communities, and how true healing comes from fostering deeper connections with those around us. The power of community and support. Did you know that the people you surround yourself with can greatly impact your health and healing? Imagine this. What if the key to your emotional and physical recovery isn't just in your hands, but in the hands of those you trust? Healing is not just an individual journey. It thrives in the embrace of a supportive community. The people around us can either lift us or keep us trapped in our struggles. In Buddhism, the concept of Sangha, the community of like-minded individuals, holds immense importance. It's not just about solitary meditation or personal effort. True healing happens when we connect with others who share our values and experiences. The Sangha provides a space for mutual support, where we help each other grow, heal, and evolve. When facing struggles, especially with stress, anxiety, or physical pain, it's easy to feel isolated. We often believe we must bear our burdens alone, but Buddhism teaches us the opposite. The healing process is deeply communal. The Sangha offers more than just companionship. It provides encouragement, understanding, shared wisdom, and compassion. When we open ourselves to others, we allow their support and kindness to nourish us in ways that we cannot do alone. Social connections are not just emotionally fulfilling, they are vital for our health. Studies have consistently shown that positive social relationships reduce stress, improve immune function, and even promote longevity. Being around people who care about us can activate our body's relaxation response, reducing the impact of stress and helping us recover faster from illness. The power of human connection is not just a philosophical or spiritual idea, it's a proven biological fact. Talking about our struggles with others who understand can offer incredible relief. Often, when we're dealing with emotional or physical pain, we keep it bottled up, thinking that we have to endure it in silence. But when we open up to someone who listens, it lightens the load. Sharing our experiences with a compassionate ear helps shift our mindset, making us feel less isolated and more capable of overcoming our challenges. I'll never forget the time I went through a personal crisis, one that seemed like an insurmountable mountain at the time. Years ago, I faced a difficult period where everything around me felt like it was falling apart. My work, my relationships, and my own health. The stress and isolation were overwhelming. I believed I had to tackle everything by myself, but everything shifted when I found myself surrounded by a supportive community. It wasn't just about having people around me, it was the right people. These were individuals who understood the struggle, who offered empathy without judgment. I joined a Buddhist meditation group where we shared our experiences openly, and I began to feel the weight lift off my shoulders. This wasn't just talk, it was the actual support, the collective healing energy that helped me reconnect with myself and find peace. I learned that when we allow ourselves to lean on others, we don't just survive, we thrive. The community's encouragement, the shared wisdom, and the compassionate listening allowed me to rebuild my life in ways I never imagined possible. I know that many of you might be feeling isolated, especially when you're in the midst of stress, pain, or difficult emotions. It's easy to believe that you're alone in your struggle, but I want you to understand this. Your healing is not just your responsibility. While self-care is essential, community care is just as important. Sometimes all it takes is one person who truly listens, one person who understands, to spark the healing process within you. We are not meant to go through life's struggles alone. You deserve to have a Sangha, a community that supports you and helps you find your way through the darkest times. The power of connection cannot be overstated. Think about the last time you had a conversation that truly lightened your heart. Maybe it was a friend, a family member, or even someone you didn't expect. Imagine having that kind of support regularly. How would that change the way you face your challenges? While community support is essential, one final key factor in healing is understanding the impermanence of life and the power of acceptance. It's only when we fully embrace the transient nature of our experiences that we can find the freedom to heal completely. Let's now explore how accepting life's ups and downs can bring us the peace and healing we've been seeking. 5. Acceptance and impermanence in healing. What if the secret to healing lies in accepting what we cannot control? What if, instead of fighting against life's challenges, the true key to peace is found in simply letting go of resistance? The key to lasting peace is often found not in changing our circumstances, but in accepting them as they are. By embracing impermanence, we find freedom and healing. In Buddhism, the concept of impermanence is central to understanding both life and healing. We live in a world where everything is constantly changing: the weather, our relationships, our health, and even our emotions. Yet we often struggle against this natural flow of life, trying to control things that are beyond our grasp. In Buddhism, we are taught that acceptance, rather than resistance, is the path to peace. When we accept the transitory nature of life, we stop fighting against the inevitable. This doesn't mean giving up or resigning ourselves to suffering. It means letting go of the attachment to outcomes, to control, and to the fear of change. When we learn to accept life as it is, we free ourselves from unnecessary pain and emotional turmoil. Acceptance-based therapies such as acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, are incredibly effective in reducing psychological distress. Studies indicate that accepting negative emotions and challenging circumstances, rather than fighting them, can lead to a significant improvement in emotional well-being. This acceptance helps reduce anxiety, depression, and stress, and fosters greater psychological resilience. When we stop resisting our reality, we start to move toward healing. Resisting negative emotions or difficult circumstances only intensifies the suffering. Think about it for a moment. When you're in pain, whether emotional or physical, how often do you catch yourself wishing for it to go away immediately? The more you fight it, the more it seems to persist. Buddhism teaches that acceptance doesn't mean passivity. It's about engaging with life fully, with awareness and compassion, and recognizing that every moment, including the painful ones, is an opportunity for growth. Here's where many people get confused. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means letting go of unnecessary resistance and the attachment to how we think things should be. Acceptance can empower us to take action from a place of clarity and inner peace. Imagine this. You're in the middle of a storm, whether it's a health issue, a relationship problem, or a career setback. The storm is real and it's affecting you, but instead of fighting the storm, you accept that it's here. You recognize that the storm will pass, as all things do. When you stop fighting against it, you give yourself the space to breathe, to move, and to see what's truly needed to navigate through it. In that space of acceptance, healing begins. Let me take you back to a time in my life when I learned this lesson in a very personal way. Years ago, I faced a situation that left me feeling completely out of control, both emotionally and physically. It felt like everything was falling apart, and I couldn't find my footing. I tried everything: meditating more, working harder, distracting myself. But nothing seemed to shift. I was resisting. I was trying to force change, and in doing so, I only made my pain worse. But then, I began to remember the Buddhist teachings on impermanence. I realized that life wasn't something I could force to align with my expectations. I had been clinging to the idea that I could somehow control every outcome. But when I finally accepted that some things were simply beyond my control, something remarkable happened. Acceptance didn't mean I was giving up. It meant I was giving myself the space to breathe. I stopped struggling against the storm and started navigating it with more ease. I found clarity. I felt lighter. And slowly my circumstances began to shift, not because I had forced them to, but because I was now in harmony with life's natural flow. This moment of surrender wasn't easy, but it was transformative. It marked the beginning of a new chapter where peace came not from control, but from acceptance. I know many of you are facing challenges right now, whether it's stress, anxiety, illness, or the weight of life's uncertainties. It's easy to feel frustrated, helpless, and like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. You may feel like everything is spinning out of control, and it's tempting to try to force things to change. But I want to offer you a different perspective. What if the peace you're searching for doesn't come from fighting harder? What if it comes from simply accepting where you are right now, with compassion and patience? The burden you carry may feel heavy, but acceptance can lift that weight and allow you to move forward with greater ease. Take a moment now and reflect. What's one thing in your life that you could choose to accept instead of resisting? What would it feel like to let go of the struggle, even just for a moment? Breathe deeply and let this acceptance settle into your heart. As we come to the end of this journey, let's take a moment to reflect on the key insights we've uncovered. The mind and body are intimately connected. What happens in one affects the other. Meditation and mindfulness offer powerful tools to reset our minds, reduce stress, and promote healing. Loving kindness, or metta, not only transforms our relationship with ourselves, but also extends healing to others. The support of a compassionate community provides encouragement, understanding, and shared wisdom. And finally, accepting life's impermanence allows us to find peace, even amid uncertainty. Remember, healing is not a destination, it's a journey. It takes time, patience, and consistent practice. But the good news is, it's within your reach. Each small step you take, whether through meditation, self-compassion, or community connection, brings you closer to the peace and balance you deserve. Now, I invite you to take the first step on your healing journey. Start small, just 5 minutes of mindfulness today, or send yourself a moment of loving kindness. Every little action counts, and it all adds up to real transformation. If this video has inspired you, please share your thoughts in the comments below and consider subscribing for more healing wisdom.